Did anybody hear the booze? What the heck was that all about? Come on.
All right. It's Tuesday,
The second Tuesday of the new year. Is that possibly correct, right? Are we at the 7th? All right. I don't seem to have my groovy claps in order. Let me see if I can go like this. Oh my goodness, we're having audio difficulties, but that is okay.
we're going to try it again. Here we go.
Oh wow, okay. They're not coming through. I wonder what the heck that's all about. Well, we'll figure that out later.
Anyways,
So let's get on with the presentation. What we're going to be talking about today
is the power of realism.
because when it comes to realism, people say that the camera
Replaced, the realistic painter, and that's just the biggest
load of garbage, because as a realistic painter, right, you are the cameraman. You are the camera. So we're going to do a quick presentation. I had just figured out some audio problems. One tool was at 44.1 hertz. The other tool is at 48 hertz in terms of the sampling rate, and so there was like a big lag. So we're going to see if that lag still exists with a quick presentation. And let's bring it up here. This is called The Vision over Virtual Signaling and the Power of Realism. We are on a Stars of David campaign where we're going to take old vintage golden cinema superstars. We're going to celebrate them in portraits like this. This is a portrait of Marilyn Monroe done in a realistic chiaroscuro. My name is, let's see if I can switch the cameras. Looks like it's mirrored. There it is. So this will be an NFT one day. This blue painter's tape will have somebody's name, the person who purchased this painting. This is my logo, because I believed for decades that we're at the dawn of a new golden age. We just haven't figured it out quite yet. And this will turn into a poster and an NFT. Let's take a look at the poster. The poster actually exists, and that poster is right here. Right, this is a 33 foot 36-inch by 36-inch museum quality poster. The image is a little bit blurred, so it's not as let's see if I get to the actual screen share. Yeah, so the image isn't as clean as it should be, and this is what it will look like when it turns into a mural. So NFTs, posters, paintings, and murals of golden age film stars. And the reason is we are going to like ram down the throat of the anti-Semites of the world. How ridiculous and how stupid they are, especially these Ivy League queers for Palestine people. All right, the cognitive dissonance is just unbearable for me not to make a statement about this idea that the Jewish culture somehow is aligned with the white, toxic, colonialist male is just so ridiculous and unbelievably retarded that this campaign was born from. So stupid things have a purpose in life. And so we're going to drive home that the fact that the American Jewish producer and film director, before Israel was a state, was promoting diversity and inclusion, golden age of cinema, and exporting it to the world one film at a time. And you might ask, what does Marilyn Monroe have to do with the Jewish culture? Well, to marry Arthur Miller, she had to become Jewish. So, not only that, but her groundbreaking role in Some Like It Hot with Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon, both cross-dressing, was a huge leap in terms of inclusion and diversity and acceptance. And that could have never happened with Puritan Christian money or Islamic fundamentalist money, or it was the Jewish producer and director, the American Jewish producer director, where inclusivity and diversity is baked into the Jewish culture. And so we're going to take this explosion of anti-Semitism that happened after October 7th, and we're going to use that horrific negative energy in sort of a Tai Chi move and use it to inspire us to create awesome, beautiful artwork and create events where we're going to be glamorous, we're going to be having a blast, and we're going to be making all of these crybaby anti-Semites just absolutely jealous and super hysterical and hating the fact that we're so cool, we're so good looking, and we're having so much fun. And so that's the basis of this campaign. We're out to raise 250 grand to launch this on a worldwide scale. We're talking golden age images on public buildings. In my community, the supposed DEI bastion of inclusivity and diversity, the Chicago suburb rejected a mural that I proposed of Marlene Dietrich. You really? You're afraid of Marlene Dietrich? Come on, man. She is the poster child for inclusion, diversity, courage, fighting the Nazis, gender bender. And so here's this DEI community in the suburbs of Chicago that has a charter in their village saying DEI. What does DEI stand for? Don't endorse Israel? Huh? Is that what it stands for? But she's too pro-Jewish for this community? Really, really, really ticked me off. And so I created it before I go through this presentation real quick. I created this video, so I'm in a little screen share madness right here. So we're going to do a little screen share craziness. You're gonna get rid of the sound, the backing music, gonna get rid of me, and let's check this out. You just push me away. I try my best, gave you my love, but you just push me away. Watch me fall, scream and shout. My heart's on fire, but you don't even hear. You don't admire. I'm not good enough. It's crystal clear. You keep claps here. The laugh track and applause are, for some reason, having a bit of a problem being called up. Anyways, so, like we said before, paintings. This is on a wood panel, just like the Mona Lisa. This is gold leaf. All right. Museum quality. Rembrandt, Velasquez, Sargent, Max Meldrum, chiaroscuro, tonal painting. This deals with how the eye sees. All right, the eye doesn't. The tone, the tone. The rod is God because the cone don't see tone. All of this modern art color jockey only happens in like 5% of the eye. The 95 rest of the 95% of the eye sees tone at a molecular level. That's how we get transfer visual information into a 3D reality. Without this acuity in the eye, we wouldn't be able to move around our world. And so this worship of color is sort of antithetical to the way the eye actually operates. And to do this, you have to be disciplined. To do this, there is a parallel between tonal painting, realistic painting, and business. That's why abstract expressionism is the art form of the left, which is sort of pro crybaby and anti-business, whereas the right is more conservative and more business oriented. That's why you see old world painters always dressed well. We're going to be painting live, all right? And so we're going to be dressed well. I'm not going to be looking like those artists, like, look at me, I'm too important with my art to actually put on a decent pair of clothes. You know, you look at these guys that look, they got body odor, you know, and eat raw spaghetti. These dudes, man. I'm not one of those guys. Anyways, so we're going to talk about the relationship between business, if I can ever get it up here. There we go. We're going to talk about the relationship about business and tonal painting or realistic painting and how they're very similar. Okay, so this vision over virtue signaling, the power of realism. This presentation explores the powerful connection between tonal painting and effective business strategy. Let's see if I can get my spotlight thing going on here. This is sort of a new tool. Forgive me if I'm a little bit rusty here. Okay, so tonal painting, discipline, precision, and adaptability. All right? So this is not about, oh, you know, I'm Picasso, I'm feeling oppressed, I'm gonna, you know, make another horrific, ugly woman and throw a bunch of paint at the canvas and pretend I'm important, all right? This is a craft. Just like in business, it takes discipline, precision, and adaptability to be successful at realism or as a tonal painter. Okay, so let us continue. Tonal painting is an art form deeply rooted in its precision and the science of the eye, of the visual perception, made famous by Caravaggio, Rembrandt, Velasquez, Sargent. It relies on the interplay of light and shadow. Okay, so you need discipline, precision, and adaptability. And so this is how we set up our palette. Just like in business, you have different departments or different areas of the business that you're going to put time and energy into. The same thing with tonal painting. It's the relationships through these different parts of the business or the different parts of the painting that defines either a successful business or an unsuccessful business. Same thing with a painting, a successful painting or an unsuccessful painting. All right, let's see if we can get a spotlight on there. Palette setup. So we're gonna set up our palette just like you saw. So if you have a colorful palette, you put your warm tones and colder tones, cooler tones, all in that gradient phrasing like you saw. All right. So before a single brushstroke, the palette is simultaneously is meticulously set up with tones arranged from lightest to darkest. Okay, so it's the same thing as clearly defining goals. You're clearly defining your tones and placement of tones. Just efficient distributing resources to achieve maximum impact. You're efficiently distributing paint on the canvas. Location and tone and location. The proper tone and the proper location. Just like the proper money at funding. The allocation of resources to the proper objective, right? You don't want to be optimizing something that you're going to make obsolete, right? And so, just like with through market research, through thorough understanding of the target audience and competition and the competitive landscape, so you are looking and trying to perceive the intricacies of the subject you're trying to paint. You're doing a lot more looking and evaluating before you make your move. All right. So let's see if we can do this in our new tool here. Approach the canvas with courage. So when you finally decide that you're going to make your move, especially towards the ending stages of the painting, you're going to experience fear because you're going to be like, man, I don't want to screw this up. Okay, so here I'm going to give you now. Squint your eyes at this painting or this photo. Squint your eyes. Now, open your eyes up. What is the lightest light? Is it our eyes here? Is it her eyes? Is it the highlight on her nose? Is it the highlight on her lips? Squint your eyes again. What do you see? What do you see? Lightest thing. The lightest thing that I is over her fingernail and her chin. So don't when you squint your eyes, don't go like this. Okay, don't get your crow's feet going. Just put your head back and just slowly let all the light is out of your eyes, and that's how you evaluate. That's how you're evaluating the thing you're going to be painting. So look at her, and then you squint your eyes, right? What do you see? What do you see? What do you see? Yep, I see the fingernail and the chin. And the problem is, right, man, she looks so sexy with those moist lips and those dreamy eyes. And so you want to spend a lot of time and attention on those features. Okay, so you have to remove that feeling that, or this idea that you want to make it perfect, and you have to get past that and just approach the canvas with courage and do what it is that needs to be done. All right, and so the parallels in business are in business you've got to assess risks, you've got to calculate the proper decisions, and then you have to be willing to innovate and then to act. So you have to be ready to make your move with the resources that you have. Here's what you have. You may need to mix yourself down to get the proper value, but you've got a certain amount of resources. You've got to embrace the risk that you might screw up, and then it's going to be a big pain in the butt because you're going to have to rework that area, something that you've already felt comfortable with. Now you've screwed it up, so it's like, man, I gotta go back, and that creates a lot of negative emotions, so on and so forth. You just have to push through it, approach the canvas with courage, make your move, and blaze forward. Okay, so we also say within this tonal painting realistic method, more look than put. So a realist painter spends more time observing than painting. Just like in business, careful consideration before taking action minimizes mistakes and ensures a well-informed decisions. So you want to look at your subject matter. You want to thoroughly evaluate the tones that are there. You want to consider the options in terms of your brush is going to change its character as you move through the painting. The brush that you have at the beginning of your painting is going to be different as you move towards the middle and the end of your session. It's going to get more moist, it's going to get more paint, it's going to change shape. It may start out nice and pointy like this, and might start out somewhat flat and spread out like this, but as you paint, it might come to a finer point, or vice versa, depending on the quality of the brush that you have. And so you've got to consider your options, right? And then execute with precision. And to execute with precision takes practice. It takes a long time and a lot of screwing up before you can get it right, on the first time. And so when in doubt, blur it out is another axiom that's used in the tonal painting process. And so just like in business, you have to embrace change, course correction, and then continuously move forward. And you're doing that with this organized palette. It's not throwing paint in a fit of emotion. It's an organized, precision-based method of creating art. All right, let's see. And then keep it loose as you can for as long as you can. You want to make basic assumptions. You want to move forward in a basic direction, but you also, just like in business, you want to be able to pivot at a moment's notice if things aren't working as they should. I think Dan Pena talks about how he's the master at shit canning anything. He says he can cut a project faster than anybody, and you have to have that ability to keep it loose. Something that is a good idea one day after further review, even though you may have an affection for it, you might be like, sorry, this has got to go. And let me see if I can show you a real world example of that. Okay, so let's take this as an example here. All right, so if you look at Marilyn, right, and if you can squint your eyes here, so just squint your eyes. So what do you see as the lightest light? The lightest light What do you see? What do you see? So if you look at the lusciousness of her lips. Look at this, like, oh God, that looks so good, right? So you may be man, I want this to look so sexy and so great. But in actuality, the lightest light is here. So the entire painting exists being framed by the lightest light here. It's not like the lightest light on her cheeks. So squint your eyes again. Where do you see the lightest light? It's here. So a lot of times what'll happen is, just like in business, you'll focus energy on something that's not that important. And you put too much energy or too much resources in something that is doesn't deserve that amount of attention. So let's say you were really involved and you created this part of her face as the lightest light as opposed to this. You might have something that generally looks okay, but it's not going to be really true to the image itself. This image was meant to be backlit, so all of these dramatic shadows could have a place to interact and to create this really sort of smoky, wonderful arts. What do they call it? Noir, film noir. Kind of smoky, wonderfulness. And so, just like we're saying, keep it loose as you can for as long as you can. Just like in the early stages in business, you want to be flexible. That's the main thing, is you want to be flexible. Just like in painting, you want to be flexible in business. And this is, opposite of modern art. Modern art is just like, I'm just going to throw a bunch of paint. Look at me. I'm Jackson Pollock, color vomiting on my canvas. Look how important I am. Right? This is completely the opposite. And that's why we're using this method, is to become proficient. I've been painting since 2002, so that's 23 years, and it's just within the last decade that I've approached any type of literacy, as this is my side hustle, my passion. And so as a leftist crybaby, discipline and hard work is like part of the colonialist male thing or whatever. And so by using this method, it's going to add another gear of hysteria to all these anti-Semites, blue-haired, Stanford University, Harvard University, Queers for Palestine, geniuses out there. All right. And so let's see. Right. In conclusion, bridging art of realism with business success, tonal painting involves carefully selecting and arranging tones and colors to create a harmonious and balanced composition. But as in business, strategic planning is crucial for success. And so, sorry, I just read that without. Yes. Gotta keep all of the moving parts moving there to make it a success. So like we said, tonal painting involves careful reflection, and you want to more look than put. Keep it as loose as you can for as long as you can. When in doubt, blur it out. These are the same principles that you can apply to a successful business, and you're putting energy in just a few resources that matter. This is a 9 step tonal scale. I pretty much use a 5 step. I don't break it up into nine anymore. And you could even go as low as three, and then just mix as you move forward. Just like those guys who are serial business owners, they can lose everything and then bring it all back again. You get to that type of confidence after you spend the time and you have the discipline and you put the effort in to the craft. And so that's why we're using tonal painting in our Stars of David campaign. All right. So if you've got any questions or comments, please feel free to leave it in the chat. And so we're going to be painting live on the air. And I'm not offering lessons or anything like that at the moment, but if you're interested, just tune in, comment. I'm going to putting on some nice, relaxing music. We're going to paint, and we're going to be starting to create our collection of golden age movie stars to celebrate the influence of American Jewish culture and its impact on inclusion and diversity throughout the world, with the specific goal of making these crybaby anti-Semites go absolutely mental. that's the that's the goal. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching, and it'll be good to review this, see if I solve the sync problems with the audio. We'll see. All right. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time. All right.